everyone, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name is Candace St. James. Thanks for coming back. And in this video today, I'm so excited to say Happy New Year, guys! And I'm super excited because this is a new year, this is a new kickoff, and you know what, I was starting to think, I was like, let's go ahead and do something different. And when I say different, we're gonna be doing, I'm actually thinking what's gonna separate me from any other drag queen that's out there. And so I was just thinking, I was like, you know, we have makeup, we have a lot of wig people that do wigs, and we have a lot of wig queens. James Mansfield's one of them. Kine is pretty much a makeup queen and a hair queen, and then, but there's not a whole lot of tutorials on how to sew. And so I was just thinking, I was like, wow, a freaking thing went off in my mind. And so I'm going to be showing you how to do quite a few projects that I've had that I've been working on, like this jacket for instance, and I was actually really excited about it. So that's my next video if you want to continue to watch, and we will sew it together. And so get back, sit tight, and let's get fabulous! But before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please hit that bell button at the bottom of the screen and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. So today we're going to be starting our sewing tutorials, and I was actually kind of just getting excited, and I've been doing a lot of dance outfits right now, and I've been excited because I've been needing to take some time away from all that. That's what I've been working on, because during COVID we can't go nowhere. So I was going ahead and I was doing a lot. I was catching up my wardrobe and just trying to perfect it, trying to get rid of the old and come in with the new. And so I've been going and doing a lot of different sewing projects. I am going to go ahead and show you how to make one of these pincushion wristbands. These are actually they come in very handy. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to drape something and you're just trying so hard to get close, and you always have to reach for somewhere if you don't have a pincushion that's close by or whatever, and you're always trying to hold your mannequin and you're always going ahead and trying to reach for something else, and it just becomes very, very inconvenient. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how we make these, because you know what, I went shopping for these and you can't find these anywhere. So I'm gonna give you a quick example of how to actually go make one for yourself, and they come in very handy. So for this project, we're gonna need a list of a few various essentials. We're going to definitely be needing some polyfill stuffing for stuffed animals. We're definitely going to be needing any scraps of fabric that you have. Use a t-shirt, use whatever. I just use my basic sewing stuff from all my remnants of fabric. You're going to need a sewing machine, of course, and then you're going to go ahead and need a roll of tape, a fresh roll of tape, or a used one. You just really need to go ahead and use it for a stencil. You need something to go ahead and write on fabric with, so like I use water-soluble markers and pens and stuff like that that'll just wash right out. You also need to go ahead and have some crochet thread and some just whatever kind of doodads. You need some whatever kind of doodads that you might think that you will need. I always rhinestone mine up, and I always go ahead and put some glitter all over it. They do carry glitter sprays, and you can get those, but those are totally optional. You don't really need rhinestones or whatever. You can just make it whatever you would like. You also need some 3/4 inch elastic, and you can get that in black or white, doesn't really matter, whatever you choose to have, and that's just going to go around your wrist, and a pair of scissors. That's all I think y'all need. So in this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and take a tape roll, and I'm going to trace around it, and I'm going to cut all that out on the wrong side of the fabric. Once you get them cut out, we're going to go ahead and pin them right sides together, and we're going to sew a single stitch around it and leaving a gap in the very top. Because we're doing a circle, you want to go ahead and do some small cuts in here, but you want to make sure that we don't get into the actual stitches that we already had sewed. This is going to allow you to go and easily turn this inside out, and you want to leave the open area alone. And then you're going to turn it inside out. You can go ahead and watch me sit here while I try to get my fat fingers in this tiny little hole and try to turn this inside out. But basically you're going to get a inside out circle like object, and you're going to just put it down, and then we are going to get some polyfill, and so we're going to stuff that. You want to stuff it to the point where you can't stuff it no more. You want to go ahead and even when you can't sew, even when you can't stuff it, you want to definitely go ahead and stuff to the point where you can't stuff no more. Even stick a chopstick in there and see if you can poke around and still get more in, because these are needles we're going to be dealing with, eventually putting in here, and so we want to make sure that they won't really pierce through our skins. Once you get it all filled up and you have nowhere else to stuff, you want to try to tuck in the top two little flap things as much as possible, and you want to take your darning needles, and we're going to actually turn the two flaps in, and we're going to sew it shut as best as we can. It's not going to look pretty, it's not going to look perfect, but you know, you can also do a great job by going and trimming the sides, which I forgot to do in this video, but we're going to also be covering it up so we can kind of disguise it a little bit. But you're gonna go ahead and start poking it. And so what we do is once we get that turned over, then we're gonna go ahead and poke. We're gonna use that same darning needle, and we're gonna go ahead and poke holes, and we're gonna kind of make the little pumpkin cross looking thing. We're gonna do 6 different stitches, trying to go in the middle of the hole. And once you go ahead and get towards the end of your last one, go ahead and tie a knot as close as you can to your work, and that way you can just snip it off and it's easily disguisable, and you can go ahead and take it off the actual roll of crochet thread. So once this is done, we're actually going to go ahead and snip off the edges, and we're going to tie a knot. And what we right now are going to do is we're going to be taking a big old drop of some Fabric Fusion glue, and we are going to put on a rhinestone. And you might want to go ahead and let this cure for 2 hours because it will move around on you, and add some weight to it. Hey guys, it's me again, and so I just want to go ahead and show you that this is what the jewel looks like after it's cured for about 2 hours or so. It'll stay on really good, but you want to go ahead and apply pressure to them when you guys go ahead and do this with the Fabri-Tac Fusion, because it does take 2 hours to actually set and cure. And then when you go ahead and you put these little jewels on, the glue tends to sink into the actual thing, so it's actually pretty cool. But this is how it looks out, and it's really holographic, really pretty reptile skin. And I'm actually making this for a friend. I was thinking about making it for myself because I actually like the color of the fabric and the style, but I can always make more. And so I'm going to be making this one for a friend because a lot of people who don't know me know that I love to go ahead and make little gifts for people, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that for her. And so it's a close friend of mine, and we've become closer over the last few months. And so my client, and I will say my client is a gift, but my client in particular is a 6.5, well, she says that she's in between a 6.5 and a 7 wrist measurement. And so we're going to take out our elastic that we're sewing, because this is what we're going to make the waistband, or the wristband out of. This is what we're going to make the wristband out of. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sew both sides shut at 6.5. But you want to make sure first that when you do have a piece of elastic, that you want to make sure that it's exactly 6.5, 7. So I'm going to probably go ahead and tie it off at a 7, but then stitch it down at a 6.5. This is literally the only sewing we're actually going to go ahead and do. So we're going to go ahead and make sure first that we go ahead and we want to make sure that we go ahead and have it at 7 inches at least for her wrist measurement. But we're going to tack it down a half an inch. We're going to tack it down at a half an inch. And so That way she has wiggle room, but not very much. And elastic is very forgiving, it does stretch, but you gotta make sure you can't sew over it a million times. If you make a bunch of mistakes, you can't just keep going over the same spot. So, because it'll wear your fabric out and it'll wear your elastic out and it'll lose elasticity. So just saying. So we're gonna go ahead and measure real quick. And we're gonna measure up until 7. So this is a little bit bigger than what I originally had. I had it at 8 inches. Probably because it was I was intending it to be for my own measurements because I didn't think about it just until a little bit ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack it down. I'm gonna take an inch off of it, and that would be exactly the 7 mark. I'm actually measuring 8 inches right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my scissors, and I'm gonna kind of mark it if I can. So this is where it kind of sucks with black because nothing really shows up. So I'm gonna go look at my pins and see what I got. And we're gonna go ahead and mark it. So I'm gonna try to use this green pen. I stole it from my job. Don't tell nobody. I'm a pen thief because I'm always using pens. But we're gonna try and tack it down and see where we can go with it. See if I can figure it out. And it actually kind of does show up. Kind of does. Not really. Kind of. There you go. So we just chopped it off. That becomes trash. And so literally, if you measure again, it's literally at exactly 7 inches on the dot. So she says that she's a 6.5. So even if you do tie it off at a ½ inch, if you sew it a ½ inch down, with a little bit of overlap, if you sew it at a ½ inch, literally it's still gonna stretch for you for the person's wrist or whatever. So it's gonna fit no matter what. It's just gonna matter if it's really snug around the wrist or if it's gonna be kind of loose and you have to kind of bring it up towards like the mid arm right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and literally just stack it down a ½ inch. And that's all we're doing. And that is literally all the sewing that you're gonna have to do. So we're gonna go ahead and do that just real quick and I'll show you. It's just a straight stitch with a couple back stitches. That's all it is. So I literally got done just going ahead and sewing on my elastic band. And on my machine, I had to use a different kind of stitch than I normally would. You typically, with most machines, would just have to use a straight stitch or whatever. I had to use a multi-pointed zigzag stitch on mine. This particular elastic is ribbed, and so it does not the sewing machine does not like it at all. But you're mainly looking to go ahead and just tack it on and not have any other loops or anything in between you don't want to have any loose threads or any loose stitches because that just does not look professional. So you just want to kind of just tack it down the best way that you can and hope there's no loose threads. And if there is, it is definitely a tension issue. And so I went and I put mine at a tension level of 7. And so, but that's different than every other sewing machine. So, but it looks pretty nice and it's very, very small and it does actually fit. And it fits snug to the arm. So then, and I really wouldn't worry about this too much because, I mean, once it looks on, you're not gonna see the top part of this. We're gonna put this on the actual thing. And so we're gonna go ahead and take our little piece, and we're gonna go ahead and put some fabric fusion glue over this actually. So we're gonna do the fabric fusion, and we're just gonna put this on the bottom like a big old glob, and we're gonna attach it. We're gonna attach the Velcro to the not the waistband, but we're gonna attach the Velcro to the bottom part of this plushie, if you will, to the bottom part of this little thing. So it doesn't have to be totally 100% perfect, but you don't really want your glue to be, you kind of want to be mindful, and you don't really want your glue to be seeping towards the outer edges because it just doesn't, it looks sloppy. So you just want to go ahead and take this, once you put your glove on, you want to go ahead and just push it in there. And the way that I do it is I go ahead and I put pins to hold it in place because it's gonna have to cure. And so you're gonna have to let this sit here for 2 hours, and you don't really want to hold on to it for 2 hours because if you just take it off right now, it's not gonna stick. So you want to just go ahead and use a couple pins and just place them through. And then come back in 2 hours, leave it alone, and then come back in 2 hours, and then you're gonna have a whole new little wristband. So it'll look like this, but minus the pins. But it's gonna look like this. And so it'll be really, really freaking cute. thank you all for coming back. I really do enjoy you guys actually watching me do my 30-minute projects to my 4-hour long projects to my 4-day long projects, and I'm super excited for you guys to come back. Happy New Year's again, and I'm just super excited because this is going to be a new start to a fresh new canvas and a fresh new audience, and I'm just really excited to go ahead and show you guys what we can bring to the table and what we can do, and I can show you and I can go ahead and show you what we are doing. I am super excited because this is something that, you know, a lot of people really don't get. They don't really get sewing lessons. They don't really get sewing things on YouTube unless you're going and looking at, you know, certain DIY rehabs and stuff like that. And I'm super excited from a drag perspective of how we can actually go ahead and do this and make things work and make things for ourselves that are just totally unique. And that's what every drag queen wants, right? We want to stand out. And so I'm here for all you beginner sewers who have never touched a sewing machine in your life, and I'm super excited for you guys to just come and see what I'm doing. And thank you guys so much for coming back, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Let's get fabulous!